Because of you, painful karma from God will make narcissists cry in agony. Have you ever wondered if the narcissist in your life will ever face the consequences of their actions? They seem to glide through life, manipulating others, leaving a trail of emotional destruction, and yet appearing untouched by the pain they cause. But don't be fooled. Karma, guided by divine justice, never misses its mark. Narcissists often live in a fragile bubble of illusion, believing they are invincible. However, when karma strikes, it shatters that bubble in the most painful and agonizing ways. Stay tuned, because this discussion will uncover the 10 ways God's justice brings narcissists to their knees. Before we dive into this powerful exploration, let me take a moment to remind you to like this video, share it with others who might need this message, and subscribe for more empowering content. Your engagement helps amplify these conversations, shining a light on toxic behaviors and spreading awareness. Now, let's uncover the painful ways karma manifests and leaves narcissists in tears. Narcissists thrive on control, manipulation, and an unrelenting need for validation. They build their lives around lies, exploiting the kindness and vulnerabilities of others to fuel their inflated egos. But here's the undeniable truth. Every harmful action, every lie, and every betrayal adds weight to their karmic debt. Divine justice is patient, but it is precise. When it arrives, it does so with a force that targets their most vulnerable points, leaving them crying in agony. The pain they've inflicted on others doesn't just disappear, it returns to them tenfold. One of the first and most impactful ways karma manifests itself is by targeting the narcissist's carefully constructed sense of superiority. Narcissists thrive on constant admiration and validation, endlessly seeking attention to uphold their inflated image of self-importance. They invest significant effort into crafting a facade of confidence and success, often manipulating others to maintain this illusion. However, as karma begins to take effect, the cracks in their false persona become impossible to hide. Their manipulations and lies, once effective tools for control, are gradually exposed for what they truly are, empty and deceptive tactics aimed at serving their selfish desires. Friends, colleagues, and even close family members who were once captivated by the narcissist's charm start to notice inconsistencies in their behavior. Over time, the very people they depended on for admiration and praise begin to turn away. The trust and support they once commanded erode as those around them become disillusioned by their true nature. This growing awareness leads to a loss of the attention and validation that narcissists so desperately crave. As their social circle shrinks and their influence diminishes, they are left to face an isolating reality where their control over others no longer holds power. This loss of admiration is not just inconvenient for a narcissist, it's deeply damaging. Their entire identity is rooted in the perception of superiority, and without the constant reinforcement of this illusion, they are forced to confront a void they'd long ignored. The isolation that follows is more than a physical or social experience. It becomes an emotional reckoning. They are left to grapple with feelings of insignificance and inadequacy that their ego is ill-equipped to handle. Karma's justice in this scenario is not immediate, but it is profound, as it strips away the very foundation upon which the narcissist has built their false sense of self-worth. Another painful and undeniable lesson delivered by karma is found in the realm of failed relationships. Narcissists are infamous for their tendency to treat others not as equal partners or cherished companions, but as mere tools to serve their selfish desires. They have little regard for personal boundaries, often trampling over them without hesitation. They manipulate, betray trust, and show an alarming lack of empathy for the very people they claim to care about. In the beginning, their charm and manipulative tactics might mask their true intentions, allowing them to hold power in relationships. However, over time, these harmful patterns become unmistakable. The people they have hurt, whether it's romantic partners, close friends, or even family members, begin to recognize the manipulation and emotional abuse for what it is. As the truth of their behavior comes to light, the individuals they once controlled start to distance themselves. Romantic partners who once gave their love and loyalty realize they've been used and decide to walk away. Friends who supported them through difficult times grow tired of the one-sided nature of the relationship and withdraw their trust. Even family members, often the last to leave, reach their breaking point and choose to protect themselves from further harm. Slowly but surely, the narcissist's social circle begins to shrink, leaving them to confront a harsh and unavoidable reality. They are alone. For someone who relies so heavily on others for validation and a sense of worth, this isolation is not just difficult, it is deeply agonizing. Without anyone to manipulate or depend on for admiration, they are left to face the empty shell of their own existence. Karma's reach doesn't end with personal relationships. It also strikes where narcissists often place the highest value, their reputation. Narcissists put extraordinary effort into crafting a public image of success, charm, and admiration. They carefully curate how others perceive them, ensuring their lies and manipulations are hidden behind a polished exterior. This facade is crucial to their sense of self-worth, as it allows them to maintain their illusion of superiority. But as karma takes its course, their dishonest actions catch up with them. The cracks in their carefully constructed image begin to show, and the truth they've tried so hard to suppress becomes impossible to hide. The consequences of this exposure can be catastrophic for a narcissist. They might lose their job, as colleagues or employers uncover their unethical behavior or manipulative tendencies. Their social standing, which they once held with pride, deteriorates as the people in their community recognize the lies and deceit they've used to climb the ladder. Friends and acquaintances who once admired their charm and success begin to see through the act, leaving them with no one to validate their fragile ego. This public unmasking is a nightmare for narcissists, as it not only tarnishes their reputation, but also forces them to confront the reality that they are no longer in control of how others perceive them. The pain of karma doesn't stop at external consequences. It often extends to the narcissist's internal world, creating a torment that is both profound and deeply personal. On the surface, narcissists may appear confident, self-assured, and untouchable, but beneath that exterior lies an ego that is incredibly fragile. Their sense of superiority is a facade, built on a foundation of lies, insecurity, and denial. When their manipulations fail, their lies unravel, or their social power diminishes, it triggers a cascade of emotions they spent their lives trying to avoid. This internal reckoning often brings with it overwhelming insecurities that they've worked so hard to suppress. For the first time, they may begin to feel the full weight of their actions, not through genuine remorse, but through the realization that they'd lost their control over others. This internal struggle manifests in a variety of ways. Anxiety and fear creep in as they face the uncertainty of their crumbling world. Depression takes hold as they grapple with feelings of inadequacy and failure, emotions they've long buried beneath their grandiose facade. Perhaps the most painful of all is the profound sense of emptiness that emerges as their false sense of self collapses. For someone who has spent a lifetime avoiding self-reflection, these feelings are unbearable. Narcissists lack the tools to process these emotions in a healthy way, as their entire identity has been built on denial and avoidance. This internal torment becomes a form of divine justice, forcing them to face the very truths they've tried so hard to escape. Without the constant validation and control they once relied on, they are left alone with their thoughts, their fears, and the inescapable consequences of their actions. Karma's justice is not quick, but it is thorough, and its lessons are inescapable for those who have built their lives on harming others. Another significant way karma makes itself known in a narcissist's life is through the slow erosion of opportunities they once took for granted. Narcissists are often their own worst enemies, sabotaging themselves in ways they may not even recognize. Their arrogance and insatiable need for control drive them to make decisions that prioritize immediate gratification or short-term wins, while neglecting the bigger picture. They are so fixated on their own desires and maintaining their dominance that they fail to consider the long-term consequences of their actions. Over time, this short-sighted approach catches up with them. Bridges they've burned through betrayal and manipulation are no longer available to them, and allies they once relied on for advancement or support begin to distance themselves. Their unwillingness to collaborate or value the contributions of others leaves them isolated in a world that demands cooperation for lasting success. As opportunities begin to slip away, the narcissist is left with fewer and fewer options to pursue the success they once flaunted. They start to realize, often too late, that their own behavior has caused the very failures they now face. The people they dismissed or mistreated are no longer willing to offer assistance, and new connections are hard to establish as their reputation precedes them. What was once an illusion of invincibility crumbles under the weight of their own hubris, leaving them to grapple with the harsh reality of a life filled with missed chances. The loss of these opportunities forces the narcissist to confront their own limitations, a process that is deeply unsettling for someone who thrives on the illusion of superiority. Karma doesn't stop there, as it often manifests through the physical and mental toll of the narcissist's lifestyle. The immense stress of maintaining their facade, always striving to appear perfect, powerful, and in control, places a heavy burden on their health. This relentless pressure, compounded by the negative energy they attract through their harmful actions, begins to affect their physical well-being. Over time, they may develop chronic illnesses or conditions that are exacerbated by their inability to process stress in healthy ways. Insomnia becomes a frequent companion, as they struggle with the weight of their lies and the fear of exposure. Their health challenges force them to slow down, and in many cases, confront the choices that have led them to this point. For a narcissist who prides themselves on appearing invincible, this vulnerability is both humiliating and deeply painful. These health issues, while often a direct result of their own behavior, are particularly jarring for narcissists because they force them to acknowledge their humanity, something they've long tried to avoid. The physical symptoms serve as a constant reminder of the fragility they'd worked so hard to deny, stripping away their sense of control and superiority. The more they resist facing these challenges, the more they compound the toll on their mental and emotional state, creating a cycle of deterioration that is impossible to escape. Financial struggles are another devastating way karma impacts narcissists. Their obsession with appearances and the constant need to project an image of success often leads them to spend recklessly, prioritizing luxury and status symbols over financial stability. They may take on debt or engage in irresponsible financial behaviors to maintain the illusion of prosperity. At first, they might seem untouchable, but as their manipulations fail and their support networks dwindle, they find themselves unable to sustain this facade. Without the resources or enablers they once relied on, their financial house of cards collapses, leaving them to face the stark reality of their irresponsible choices. This loss of financial control is particularly harsh for narcissists because their sense of worth is so deeply tied to their material possessions and outward success. As their wealth diminishes, so does their ability to command admiration and respect. The humiliation of losing what they once flaunted is compounded by the realization that they have no one to turn to for help. The very people they alienated through their selfishness and manipulation are no longer willing to come to their aid, leaving them to face the consequences of their actions alone. This isolation, combined with their inability to maintain the lifestyle they once prided themselves on, serves as a harsh and unavoidable reminder of the reality they tried so desperately to ignore. Perhaps the most agonizing form of karma narcissists experience is the deep and unrelenting regret that comes from destroying the relationships that mattered most. Narcissists have a tendency to take advantage of the people who genuinely care for them, using their kindness and trust as tools for their own gain. They betray the very individuals who offer them unconditional support, dismissing their feelings and taking their loyalty for granted. At the time, the narcissist feels no remorse, convinced that they are entitled to exploit others without consequence. But when those people finally reach their breaking point and walk away, the narcissist is left with an overwhelming sense of loss. This regret often comes too late for the narcissist to repair the damage they've done. The relationships they've destroyed could have brought them genuine happiness and support, but their actions have rendered reconciliation impossible. The narcissist is left to reflect on the void they've created in their own life, a void that cannot be filled by superficial connections or fleeting validation. This sense of loss, combined with the knowledge that they are responsible for their own loneliness, is a heavy burden to bear. Regret becomes a constant companion, a painful reminder of the opportunities for love and connection they will never regain. For a narcissist, who depends so heavily on external validation to sustain their sense of worth, this realization is nothing short of devastating. Karma ensures that this regret lingers, serving as a powerful and enduring lesson in the consequences of their actions. One of the final ways karma strikes is through a loss of control. Narcissists thrive on manipulating others to get what they want. But as their patterns of behavior become clear, people become less willing to play along. They start to set boundaries, stand up for themselves, and refuse to be controlled. This shift leaves the narcissist feeling powerless, as they realize they can no longer bend others to their will. For someone who has built their identity around control, this is an agonizing realization. If you've ever been hurt by a narcissist, know this: their actions will not go unanswered. Karma, guided by God's justice, ensures that every harm they've caused returns to them in ways they cannot ignore. And while it might not happen on your timeline, rest assured that it will happen. Your role is not to seek revenge, but to focus on your own healing and growth. By doing so, you take away their power and contribute to the cycle of justice that will ultimately hold them accountable. Thank you for joining me in this exploration of how karma works against narcissists. If this discussion resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help spread this important message. Your engagement makes a difference, and together, we can create a world where toxic behaviors are recognized and addressed. Remember, divine justice is always at work, and your strength and resilience are more powerful than you realize. Until next time, take care and stay empowered.